Good morning. We're going to see Jesus perform what I would call a verifiable sign this morning. John has been underlining, or he underlined one sign for us, and he's going to underline this as a sign of who Jesus was as well. We're also going to see contrast at work. Uh, let's jump into it, finishing up John chapter 4. After the 2 days in Samaria, he left for Galilee. Now, Jesus himself had pointed out that a prophet has no honor in his own country. And this is a setup, right? We're getting a flavor here that these folks they're like, yeah, he's a hometown boy. We know him. Can anybody from Sullivan County really be the Messiah? Can anybody from our neck of the woods that we know really be? I mean, we've seen some miracles, but what's going on here? When he arrived in Galilee, the Galileans welcomed him. They'd seen all he'd done in Jerusalem at the Passover festival, for they'd also been there. So they've seen some of these miracles. They're glad their hometown boy is there, but what's he going to do for us, right? That's seems to be the kind of attitude that John is building us toward. And we understand that, right? I mean, if there was a Sullivan County boy that went out there and did some amazing things, we'd want him to come back here and do them too. Come on. Do them for us. And so this is a natural kind of thing. Once more, he visited Cana in Galilee, where he turned the water into wine. And there was a certain royal official whose son lay sick at Capernaum. I'm not going to show you the map, but basically it looked like about 20 miles on foot between Capernaum, which is right on the Sea of Galilee, and Cana, which is farther inland. So 20 miles on foot, that's a pretty good hike, right? And this guy has made this royal official's made this hike himself to see if he can get Jesus' help. When this man heard that Jesus had arrived in Galilee from Judea, he went to him and begged him to come and heal his son, who was close to death. So he's heard a lot of things about Jesus, and he's hoping this can be a cure for that Jesus could be a cure for his son, could deliver him really from this sickness. Jesus immediately senses the mood of those that are listening and saying, listen, there's more to me than signs and wonders. Unless you people see signs and wonders, Jesus told them, you will never believe. And remember, when he was in Samaria, at first people came out because the woman said, this guy told me everything I'd ever done, and they believed because of that. But after he'd been there a couple days, they said, no, we believe because of what this guy says, because of his teaching, because of who he is and how he presents himself in his teaching. And these are Samaritans. These are not the hometown people at all. And now Jesus is in the hometown, and instead of being about teaching, it's about miracles. Hey, we saw miracles at the Passover. Now we want miracles here, and signs. And Jesus saying, hey, there's more to me than this, right? The royal official said, and probably, I'm guessing the royal official, I feel like that is one of the Herods. Herod the Great was the guy that was around when Jesus was born. He died, and he was a Roman surrogate. They put him in place. Herod the Great was. And then they kept his sons around to help administer things. So this is one of those other Herods who were descended from him. The royal official said, "Sir, come down before my child dies." So he confirms to Jesus, "Hey, this isn't about seeing a sign. This is about my son. And I'm really afraid that my son is gonna die. I need you to come. I need you to come and heal him." "Go," Jesus replied. "Your son will live." So Jesus didn't even have to go with him. Um, Actually, it's kind of interesting. He turned down this guy's request to go to his house and heal his son. I'm not going to go show you a miracle. I'm not going to do an amazing wonder for you at your house. But your son will live. And here's the act of faith, right? This is a royal official. He maybe even could have ordered it. But the man took Jesus at his word and departed. There's an act of faith. I really do believe Jesus can heal my son, so I'm going to go. Whether he comes or not, I'm going to go and believe that he just pronounced it. So that's pretty amazing act of faith. While he was still on the way, his servants met him with the news that the boy was living. When he inquired as to the time when his son got better, they said to him, "Yesterday at 1 p.m, the fever left him." Then the father realized that this was the exact time at which Jesus had said to him, "Your son will live." So he and his whole household believed. Now, this is something about the Gospels that about the stories of Jesus that we need to hang on to. And I want you to think about this. When this was being told around, when this was written down and being read in churches in Judea, even if it was 30, 40 years later, there were people that could say, "I remember that. I remember that kid was so close to dying." Actually, he's still alive today. He lives just down the road. I remember that guy. We can remember things from 20, 30, 40 years ago that were significant like that, right? So there was going to be fact checking on these stories because they were in real cities with real people. And so often people want to say that these books are not historical, but they came out close enough, 20, 30, 40 years after the events, and they're based on oral tradition, spoken accounts from the disciples' Holy Spirit inspired memory of what Jesus said and did that could be verified. These people could still be in the vicinity and questioned. And if we ever do the Gospel of Luke, that's how he gets a lot of his stuff. He interviews the people that were there at the time. So I feel like this guy, he's a kid, maybe, I'm going to say maybe double digits, so maybe 9, 10 years old. Certainly not an adult. And 30 years later, he'd be in his mid-30s, maybe 40, and he could be asked, "Hey, what's the deal?" This was the second sign Jesus performed after coming from Judea to Galilee. So, so for some reason, John is underlining these signs. The first sign was at the wedding in Cana when Ma had Jesus jump the gun, if you will, and turn water to wine. And then, so take the ordinary and make it extraordinary. And then this one was a healing to take away the sickness and bring healing. So we'll have to keep watching as we go along what signs John are underlined and why he did that. Hope you have a great 4th of July, Independence Day. And thanks so much for listening in. Hope these are helpful for you.